I'm going to show you a slowed down version of my 3D foundation, which all fits in one compact. Now, the reason why I have this big, huge compact is because I wanted to show you all of the things that I am going to use to do my face today. So I've got my contour, my brightening highlight, my main highlight. These are the colors that you use to achieve your foundation look. I have a lip and cheek here. I have a bronzer here, which I'm also going to use for my lip color. I have an illuminator here to add a little bit of dewy glowiness. And then I've got my eyeshadow colors here. So I wanted you to see everything in one palette. Now this palette is very large and it has a really big mirror. I believe the demi palettes are still on sale, so you can go ahead and check those out. And these colors that I have in my palette are part of the Apple Spice collection, which is available on my website. So I'm gonna use a couple of different brushes for my look today. I'm gonna start with my blush and bronzer brush. This is gonna be the brush that I use to blend in my face makeup. I am going to use the multitasker brush to apply some eyeliner. I have my eyeshadow brush here, and I also have my line brush, which I'm gonna use for my brows and possibly to do a little winged liner like the model on the website. So I like to start with my contour first. I'm just gonna apply my contour with my finger. So my contour shade is Ash. I have a very red tone to my skin, so I am all for the ashy contour colors. So more of a cool color. So I am just taking that contour color and applying that. I go from like the top of my ear, kind of underneath my cheekbone, stopping at the corner of my eye right here. So I'm gonna do that to both sides, and I'm just tapping in with my finger. And again, going from the top of my ear down, I can kind of feel like where underneath my cheekbone is, and I'm just taking my finger and making a line like that. I'm gonna apply a little bit more contour to my hairline here. So what I'm doing with my contour is I'm creating a shadow. And by no means is the placement of this perfect, okay? I'm kind of just applying it where it goes, and it will blend because it is a cream. So my brush is going to blend all of this where it really needs to be. And you can apply this with a brush too. I usually do this with a brush, or I really like to do this with my fingers as well. I'm also going to take a little bit and go like from the bottom of my earlobe down along my jawline to create a little shadow there. And also, when you're applying this like this and you're letting it sit on your skin, you are giving the creams a little bit of a chance to warm up on your skin, which makes blending even easier. All right, so next I'm gonna go in with my brightening shade. I like to do my brightening shade second, and then I take my main shade and I fill in all of the areas that I did not use my contour or my brightening colors on. And I'll explain that when I get to that. All right, I'm taking a little bit of my brightening and I'm just really dotting that on my T-zone. I like to put a little dot on the inner and outer corners of my eye. And you want to avoid putting a ton of product under your eye because that skin is already really thin and you don't need a lot of product there. I like to go down the bridge of my nose with my brightening right here on my Cupid's bow and on the center of my chin. I'm gonna go actually back into my contour and contour the sides of my nose a little bit. And that's gonna kind of create a shadow. And I like to bring that kind of up to my brow. Okay, so I just did the one side and you can see that that's creating a shadow. That's going to slim my nose slightly. And I like to put a little dab under there too. Okay, so not a ton of brightening, not a ton of contour. A little bit of the cream product goes a long way. I'm gonna go into my main shade next, which is Sandy. And again, I'm just applying with my fingers. I'm basically going to apply this anywhere in between my contour and my my contour and my brightening shade. And again, you might not think that this looks like my natural skin tone because I do have so much redness, but a little bit of cream product, like I said, goes a long way, and it really does a nice job of covering the redness that I have on my face. So, looks a little crazy. I like to wait until the end to apply my blush so it doesn't get lost on my cheeks. All right, so I'm gonna take my blush and bronzer brush, the small end. If you have the 3D end, the domed end of your 3D brush is also great for blending. I'm gonna start where the lighter colors are, okay? And I'm not really worried about I am not really worried about lightly pressing. I'm getting in there in my skin. I'm taking my brush and pressing it into my skin using the bristles to do that. I'm not swiping. I can swirl to move the product, but I'm basically applying that and moving it around in the areas that it goes. So my main highlight shade basically goes where a man's beard would go. And so I am keeping that in those areas, okay, where a man's beard would go. Now, I'm not blending this in with my contour. I'm just kind of taking my brush and working that right below my contour. And then again on this side, taking that main. Now, I probably need a little bit more of my main color right here. So at this point, I can take my brush, dip that into my main, and add a little bit more color there. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and blend down my neck, that contour color, so I don't forget to do that. I have forgotten to blend out my neck before. So I'm bringing that color down. Okay, I am going to go into my T-zone, okay? And again, I am stippling this into my skin and just kind of swirling that in the area that it needs to go. So I'm kind of avoiding that contour area right now, and I will go in there and blend that in a second. Now, I've still got my my light color out here, so I'm going to take that and kind of just blend it in, okay? I'm literally stamping it into my skin on top of my eyelid. It serves as a nice primer for your lid also. And I'm gonna do the same thing here. Okay, so I'm just kind of stippling, pressing into my skin. And again, if you need to add more product, you can at this point, but you want to avoid too much product. If you have too much product on your skin, it's going to, 1, feel sticky, and 2, it's going to look textured, okay? So less is more with this product. All right. I'm gonna take that, I'm using the same end of that brush, and I'm gonna work my contour into my hairline. So again, I'm just stamping it in, Okay, flicking it up into my hairline. Doing a little swirl like this. Okay, and really the brush is doing all of the work, okay? All right, so I kind of like give myself a little inspection and see if I need to add any more product, and I'm pretty happy with the placement of everything so far. Okay, so next, the lip and cheek for the Apple Spice collection is Frenchie. Here it is. Here it is right here. Okay, so this is Frenchie. This is from the Advent collection. I do not have a full-size tin of Frenchie, so this is one of the little ones that came out for the holiday. Frenchie is a satin shade, so I'm going to take my brush and just tap it in to Frenchie, and I'm going to place that on top of my contour, and I'm going to kind of take my contour on my cheeks and flick that upwards. And I like to keep my blush up here. I don't like to put it down here on the apple of my cheeks. I like to keep mine lifted and up here on the upper part of my cheekbone, okay? Frenchie is probably not the best color for me because I have such a red complexion, but it is pretty. If you have lighter, more fair skin, and it is a pretty peachy color. So I'm doing the same thing on this side, okay? Just taking it, stamping it in right on top of my contour there, and just taking my brush and just feathering this on, okay? I am not being gentle with my brush. I am getting in there on my skin, okay? I am basically telling the product where I want it to go. All right, so that is, I'm gonna add a little bit of Heat Waves bronzer just to deepen this a little bit. So Heat Waves bronzer, we have three different bronzers? I think 3 different bronzers: Bella, Heat Waves, Palm, and Tan Lines. We have 4 bronzers. So Heat Waves bronzer is more of a reddish, a darker tone than Bella bronzer. And I'm just gonna take a little, actually I'm gonna use the fluffy side. I'm gonna pinch my bristles a little bit to pick up a little bit of that product. And I am just going to apply this right here to the high points of my forehead. And I'm going to add a little bit to my cheeks. There we go. Okay. Just to deepen that just a tad, just a tad. All right, there we go. And I'm going to hit up the light part of my neck right here, my little turkey gobbler. I'm actually flipping my brush over because this is the more dense end and I got a little bit too much right there. So I'm going to use that to work that down my neck. All right, next, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and fill in my brows with Trust eyeliner or Trust eyeshadow. This is not part of the collection, but I love Trust for my brows. I can also use my contour for my brows. I just like the coolness of Trust eyeshadow. So I am using the line brush for that. And I am just going to make some little hair strokes with my line brush and kind of follow the natural shape of my eyebrow. I don't really like any harsh eyebrow lines. I like my eyebrows to look fairly natural. So just giving them a little color to fill them in. All right, so like that. Nothing too crazy or scary. And of course, you can use any eyebrow pencil that you like as well. All right, I always have a harder time doing my other side, so bear with me. But I am loving this bigger mirror in this palette. So it's really super nice. I think it's because I have to move my wrist in an awkward way to get to this side. All right, so again, this is Trust eyeshadow. If you are more fair or you have lighter skin or lighter brows, Bird eyeshadow is really good for that as well. All right, now on to some eyeshadows. So this is again the Apple Spice collection that is available on the site. You can buy the whole collection, or if you already have some of these colors in your palette, you can just pick and choose the ones that you need from the collection. So I am going to start with Butterscotch, which is a matte shade. So Butterscotch looks like that. It's a nice, pretty full color. Looks really nice with light eyes. I'm taking my eyeshadow brush and tapping off some excess, and I have a hooded eye, so I am kind of going to start above my crease. Okay, see where I've put that up there? I am going to start above the crease. Now, our eyeshadows are super pigmented, so a little bit goes a long way. It's always best to start off light. You can always build as you go. It's easier to add than to take away. So I am just kind of starting right there. I'm holding my brush all the way down here, and I am just going to windshield wiper that onto the crease. When I say windshield wiper, I'm literally taking the bristles and feeling them bend and moving it back and forth like this, slightly with my hand. I'm not like doing this with my hand. I'm basically keeping my hand in the same place and just slightly moving the brush back and forth. And again, the bristles and the brush are doing all of that work. Okay, so I've got Butterscotch there. I'll do the other side. So I'm just placing it above my crease. When I say place it, I'm taking it and I'm stamping it on the place that I want it. Okay, I've got some product there, and then I'm going to transfer it by going in this windshield wiper motion. So that is going to move the shadow in the area that I want. Okay, I'm gonna add just a little bit more on this side to make it even. All right, and I'm using a super light hand with this. All right, so I've got Butterscotch where I need it to go. Okay, I'm gonna take the smaller end of this brush and I'm going to go into Snowbird. So let me swatch Snowbird. Well, that wasn't very good. Let me try that again. There we go. Okay, so Snowbird is a shimmer. It is on the warm side as well. It's one of my favorites. I'm taking the smaller end of this and I am just gonna apply this kind of on the outer part of my lid. And I like to tap off the excess. All right, so I'm just going to place this in the outer corner. Oh, I forgot a color. Let's see. I might have Harlan go get that for me real quick. It's the sapphire color. I might be able to get away with it without using it. It's a cream shadow. So again, I'm taking Snowbird and the smaller end and just placing that on the outer corner. Okay, to deepen that a little bit. Okay, I am going to take Ivy League and my multitasker brush. So I've cleaned off my multitasker brush. I used my multitasker for my Black Friday eyeliner. I'm gonna take Ivy League, which is this dark green color. And I'm gonna use that to go underneath my lash line here. And just run a little bit of that green underneath my lash line. Same thing on this side. This is hard to do in the phone. Okay, so I've got that green color on the bottom, okay? I am going to take a little bit of my Black Friday eyeliner and line the outer part of my lashes with Black Friday. So you can see that going on right there. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go kind of over top of that with this pretty shimmery color. Oh, I didn't swatch the Ivy League or the Ivy League for you. So here's Ivy League, okay? It's a really pretty fall green. And I'm gonna do the same on this side. So I'm applying the Black Friday with the multitasker. You could also apply this with the line brush as well. Okay, I'm gonna take this end of my multitasker, which is the flat end, and I'm going to go into this Ivy League color, not Ivy League, this is number 33. So this is a shimmery green color. Okay, it's really pretty. I'm gonna add just a smidge of that to the outer corner, like right above where the Black Friday is. Okay. And I'll do that on the other side. So I'm going right above the Black Friday eyeliner. And kind of taking that out to the outer corner. Any sort of fallout that you get, you can just take your brush and clean that up along the edges. Like that. Okay. I'm gonna add a little bit more of Snowbird to the inner part of my eye here. Okay, so I've got a little bit of green on there. I'm gonna, if I had my brush cleaning towel, I could put that on there, but I don't have that in my palette right now. I'm gonna take a little bit of Snowbird. Actually, I'm gonna use the smaller end of my eyeshadow brush and do this. Okay, so I'm just taking that and running that all the way into the crease. Like that, just to deepen that up a little bit. Okay, and I'm leaving the center part of my eyes kind of plain. So a little bit more bright in that area. So it's very dramatic on the outside. Okay, I am going to add a little bit of mascara. And I'm just using Maybelline Sky High. This is a kind that I don't feel flakes or transfers. And I like how it makes my lashes look long. I have not been using a lash serum either. So you can use your favorite mascara. I've heard all good things about tubing mascaras if you struggle with your mascara transferring to your lids. Okay, and then I'm gonna apply a little bit of this Heat Waves bronzer to my lips. So I have not done this before. So again, Heat Waves is a really warm shade. Hey, Har.
Mommy?
Yeah?
I clogged the toilet on accident.
Okay. I'll get it. All right, so that's Heat Waves bronzer. Interesting on the lips. All right, and then I am going to do a little bit of my rose gold illuminator on the tops of my cheeks here to add a little bit of a glow, and right there to my nose and to my Cupid's bow. So that is the Apple Spice collection minus the sapphire. It's not in my palette. I forgot to put it in there. But you would take the sapphire and kind of also add that to that green. But I don't know if I really would, I don't know that you would really need that. So if you are interested in any of these products, or you would like me to help you pick your colors or build a palette, just let me know and I would love to help you. That's my job. So hope everybody has a great night, and I'll catch you on the flip side.